Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. Everything I'm about to share today is specific for my own personal experience through the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not trying to single AA out. I'm sure this happens with NA, with CR, with Smart Recovery, with JK LMNOP recovery, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure this happens in other pathways. I just can't speak to those pathways. I never worked them. But I did work Alcoholics Anonymous, and so I can speak to my own personal experiences with this topic, and it's one I wanted to share with you guys today. I was on my way to a meeting last night. I was kind of thinking about this topic, and sure enough, we get into a meeting, and lo and behold, a very similar topic comes up for discussion. I was like, okay. In 2013, I was beginning to realize I might have a problem. I might have a problem with drinking. And so I started, as my very first venture into an AA room. And every time I walked into an AA room back then, I looked for every opportunity to discount, discredit, and disparage a spiritual program that had been working for millions and millions of people, not in that room, but at least the people, definitely the people in that room, all over the globe, right? This program had worked for all these people, and I spent all my time, effort, and energy trying to find reasons why it wouldn't work for me. Why would I do that? Let's be honest. I mean, after all, I was walking in a room full of drunks and drug addicts. Okay, that's fair. I had some misconceived idea of perfection, which is just crazy. But, I really just wanted to be the smartest person in the room. See, I walked in thinking I was the smartest person in the room. I read books, but yet I was still in a room full of drunks and drug addicts. I'm sure they read books too. I just wanted to be the smartest person in the room. And so I spent all my effort coming up with reasons of why I couldn't take their suggestions and their recommendations, why it wouldn't work for me. Rather than just simply listening and trying to see if I could honestly try to apply some of these suggestions they were giving me. Bill writes about how I was on page 49, and when I read this, very first time I read this, it was a wake-up call for me. He says, "We used to amuse ourselves by cynically dissecting spiritual beliefs and practices when we might have observed that many spiritually minded people were demonstrating a degree of stability, happiness, and usefulness which we should have sought ourselves." I spent all my time going into a room just so I could dissect what other people were saying and point fingers at them as to why it wouldn't work for me, rather than just realizing the fact that whatever they're doing obviously fucking worked. Bill sums it up. Matter of fact, on page 47, he says, when people presented us with spiritual approaches, how frequently did we all say, "I wish I had what that man has. I'm sure it would work if only I could believe as he believes." I remember saying things like that too. "Oh man, I'm sure it would work for me, but I just can't believe like you believe. Because I'm the smartest person in the room." Man. Why would I go into rooms and just try to dissect and try to tear it all apart, try to shoot holes in it? I mean, again, after all, I'm shooting holes. I'm trying to dissect, imperfect people. We say all the time, AA is a perfect program for imperfect people. I just didn't realize that at the time. I'm trying to of course I'm going to find reasons why it doesn't work. That's all I'm spending my time looking for, is reasons why it won't work for me. At the end of the day, why would I do that stuff? Because I just wasn't ready to stop drinking. I still wanted to be in charge. I didn't want to admit defeat. My pride and my ego was still it still had gotten the best of me. At the end of the day, I just didn't want to stop drinking. I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. I wanted the Hannah Montana best of both worlds. I did. That's the truth. But I still wanted to be in charge, all because I couldn't admit that I wasn't qualified to lead. I still wanted to feel important. And if I listened to somebody else's suggestion and followed a spiritual program that they were recommending to me, that meant I had to put somebody else in charge. And the only other person who was qualified to lead me, that guy didn't like me. At the end of the day, I just wasn't ready to stop drinking. And on page 48, Bill writes, in this respect, alcohol was the great persuader. It finally beat us into a state of reasonableness. Granted, it took me about 8 years to reach that state, 8 more years to reach that state. I relapsed in 2017, and in 2021, I finally said, I was ready. I was ready to stop drinking, and I thank God for the program of action known as Alcoholics Anonymous. I wasn't ready to admit that I wasn't qualified to lead my own life, to have any type of responsibility with my own life. And then I heard another statement. After I came in and started working the program diligently, God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called. And that was important. That was very powerful for me. See, when I came in and I finally said, okay, my alcoholism had beaten me into a state of reasonableness. It was a great persuader. I have nothing left for me to do. There's no other way for me to try to get sober, so I might as well go ahead and try these things that these people are suggesting to me. I got a hard head up here. It takes me a little bit to figure things out, right? And so in 2021, I finally said, you know what? I'm at least going to start listening to folks. In 2021, I was told that I probably wouldn't see 2022. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to die. I'm probably going to die sometime this year. And I remember thinking, if I'm going to meet God, I'm going to have to argue with God. I'm going to have to explain to Him that I tried everything. And God was going to say, okay, Drew, did you really try everything? I was going to say, yes. Drew, did you try AA? I was going to say, not entirely. And I knew I had to have that evidence that I was going to have to present to God so He would let me into heaven. That was how I was persuaded in 2021. I know it's crazy, but that was the conversation that was going on in my head. Fortunately, every time I came back into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, all the people that saw me before, I've said this 1,000 times, their arms got a little wider. They weren't judgmental. They were never condescending. They were just happy I was still breathing, and they were happy that I was back. And to this day, I absolutely credit those folks who were there for me early in my sobriety, man. I thank God for them giving me the suggestions. I thank God that they helped me put my ego on the back burner. They helped me put my ego to the side and swallow my pride and admit that I just couldn't control my life. And they helped me understand that I was going to have to go through these growing pains in order to become a better person. And again, I thank God for the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and those people who helped show me a better way of living. I finally got ready. I want to ask you, are you ready? I asked you this question when you're ready the other day, right? Well, are you going into rooms trying to dissect and pick everybody else apart? Are you trying to compare your story to their story and say, oh, well, their story doesn't apply to me? Quit trying to compare, quit trying to dissect. All the effort and energy that you're putting into trying to prove why their program won't work, if you just put half of that effort and energy into getting yourself clean and sober, dude, you'd be on your way. You'd be totally on your way. I want to encourage you today, go into a room, get around like-minded people at least. Doesn't have to be in a formal AA room. Get around like-minded people and start listening to what they say. Don't cynically dissect, like Bill says, because that could keep you out there even longer and make it even more risky for you to even be able to get back into a fellowship room. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to hear discussed, let me know. You can email it directly to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it, see what we can do. You can also share these videos with your friends on Facebook. Invite them to the Recovery Classroom. You can private message us through the Recovery Classroom Facebook group page. And real quick shout out to Drinda for our very first women's crosstalk meeting Monday night. She said it was a great meeting, a lot of great dialogue and conversation. So Drinda, we are super proud of you. Super proud of you. We love you. We're very proud of the work you're doing. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.